The truth is, most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they don't believe. Not in the system, not in the timing, not in the economy, but in themselves. And the scariest part is that we live in a world filled with inspiration, more than ever before. Stories of greatness are everywhere, but most people are still stuck, still scared, and still quiet. So what's exactly missing? Why do some people with no resources, no support, and no blueprint go on to build something extraordinary, while others, surrounded by motivation, do nothing? The answer is belief. Belief is the only thing that's ever carried me through when nothing else matters. From the moment I dropped out of school, I left my A-level exams midway just so I can go to a networking event up in Birmingham, a city that I've never been before. I never even slept anywhere outside my house at that time. The only thing that gave me the confidence to do all that stuff and the confidence to pursue my dreams and passion was belief. And back then, there were so many things that could have went wrong, but I was naive to all that stuff. Which I think there's a real connection between belief and naivety. Because if you know too much, if you know about every single thing that could go wrong, in my opinion, it's so much harder to have belief in yourself. Being a little naive could be your biggest superpower because it allows you to dream bigger and take risks that others are afraid to take. Because with what I'm building with Humble Beginnings and other personal projects, in what right mind does it make sense to aim to create a global platform where I want millions of people to come in and execute their dreams, and also aim to get a building up in London where I can have an in-person hub, where people can also have that environment so that I can cultivate, a bigger community and be able to cultivate new connections, etc. Because I don't care if it sounds realistic. I believe it's possible. And if I believe it's possible, that's literally all that matters.
Yeah, bro, that's the mission. And the mission is by end of the year, we should have about 1,500 people.
Another thing that I'm big on is energy. Whenever I have a project that's coming soon, I'm launching a business that is so big that I'm just kind of somewhat scared, essentially, because I'm not really qualified to do it or I haven't got any experience. I try my best to not tell family or friends about everything that I'm doing, because number one, I feel like it gives me a dopamine hit thinking I've already achieved it, which is not great. And number two, I don't want to allow other people's insecurities or even other people's trauma affect my equilibrium. Because there's been times where I'm like, oh damn, look, I've got this massive idea. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, right? And I'll tell that to people sometimes to be like, oh, that's not gonna happen. Are you sure you want to do that? Can you really do that? And it's like all these little comments, even though I have the belief in myself that I can execute wherever, there's no hiding the fact that that energy and those conversations and those words can sometimes affect me, even on short term. So even when you go back sometimes to your house, you'll be like, can I actually do that? Are they right? So you start doubting yourself, right? So when it comes to power of belief, it's really important to understand that when you have something that's you're launching, or when you have something that you're really proud of and you don't want anybody else to kind of affect it, just refrain from telling other people. Execute and then do the talking. When I first left my A-level exam, I didn't tell my parents what I'd done until the 2 years after. Because I know for a fact, if I said, hey guys, I want to pursue my dreams, I want to pursue my business, I can promise you, I can almost guarantee I'm not gonna hit the end of it for like a year. So I was like, look, let me just do what I wanna do. Let me just be selfish for a second. Let me just do what's best for me. Let me execute whatever. And then at the end of it, I was like, listen, this is what I've done. This is the business I built. This is the how much money I made this year. This is kind of who I'm working with, right? So even when I told them like, hey, look, I dropped off A-levels, they weren't that annoyed, to be honest with you. So let your actions do the talking. If you have the power of belief, if you believe in yourself that you really can do anything, then just do it. Just do it. Don't tell people too much. Don't let other people affect your equilibrium. Just do whatever you want to build. I hosted my first ever networking event while I was temporarily homeless. I had back then Stephen Bartlett, social media manager, who spoke at my event. I had people who worked with massive corporations who, again, spoke at my event. I literally had 70 plus people turn up to our event and pay, I think, about £25 a ticket, which if you go to events, that's quite a premium pricing, right? I got a venue, I got all this, I have no experience in events. I've never done it in my life, right? But I just threw myself at the deep end. And I had the power of belief to be like, you know what? I know my skills, I know my dedication, I know my work ethic. If I put my mind to something, I would do it. I remember 2.5 years ago when I turned on Netflix and I watched The Last Dance when it first released. I knew Michael Jordan was a successful person. I knew Michael Jordan was a great basketball player, but I didn't know how great he really, really was, his mentality around things. And I want to use him as a great example to kind of support my thesis about the power of belief and how anybody can do anything if you dedicate your mind and just follow through with everything. So I'm going to use kind of 2 different examples of how Michael Jordan done that. Hopefully it'll kind of give you guys more context of where really my mindset about power of belief comes from. The biggest thing, I don't think many people know this about Michael Jordan, is that when he first got to the NBA, before he got to the NBA, he was in a sophomore team, which I don't know what's the equivalent in the UK. I think that's college. He was a kind of college basketball team. People don't know, but he actually got cut from the basketball team. Imagine Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player, the player where people want to be like Mike, the player where he sold millions and millions of his trainers. He got cut from his basketball team. Most people, they would have used that external side of things to kind of be like, I'm not great enough, I can't do this, it's not for me. But Michael Jordan was different. Michael Jordan, what he done, he trained every single day. I remember in The Last Dance, his mom said that he was crying. He was crying on her shoulders because he was so upset that he got cut. So back then, Michael Jordan's mom was like to him, if I remember correctly, she was like, you have your last summer to do something about it or you're not gonna get back in the game. And Michael Jordan took that personally. And Michael Jordan now ended up, on that whole summer, I think it was like 2 months, he trained every single day. Michael Jordan's mom said in Last Dance that she would wake up in the morning, she'll see Michael Jordan playing outside, she'll sleep and she'll still see Michael Jordan playing outside. So just to show like that self-belief, what kind of proves everything I kind of speak about is, if you yourself know that you're gonna make it, if you yourself know that you are the greatest and person to ever walk the earth, doesn't matter what other people say, what his coach said or he got caught, he took that loss, translated it into kind of motivation for me to be better, right? After the summer, I believe he went back to the sophomore team and then he went to the NBA a year after, you know? So imagine if he gave up in that moment where most people give up. Imagine how many dreams are just being wasted every single day just because of one split-second decision. The second point of how Michael Jordan used self-belief was the self-defined standards of greatness. Jordan didn't wait for other people to call him great. He decided what greatness means and held himself to that invisible standard. Even after winning a championship, imagine, even after winning a championship and also losing a championship, he would always return back to the training hungry. I always wanted to get better and better and better and better, because belief isn't proven by achievement, it's proven by discipline. Even for myself, if I wasn't disciplined enough to work and come to the office every single day and kind of make the small percentage of progress or the small improvements every single day, what would happen is I wouldn't have the belief myself to execute on a certain level. For example, last year when I was working with freelancers and I was helping them get more clients, in the beginning it was scary because I didn't know anything. But once you start and you get a small win, you start proving yourself, I can actually do this. Then you get another win, and you get another win, and so you start believing yourself time and time again, more and more, because you're proving to yourself that you can actually execute on what you set your mind to. Belief, I think anybody can have, I feel like self-belief in terms of like, hey, I believe I can do this, but you need to follow through with action. And that's what all successful founders, that's what every single person I studied from, Michael Jordan, Ted Turner, Michael Ovitz, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, if you really listen to every one of these guys, they all have the same pattern of, they all believed they were great, but their bias to action, their execution was literally out of this world. I believe every single person on this planet wants to get better in some sort. We see success stories every single day. We see people winning online. We see people achieving their dream. But the thing that is stopping most people isn't the lack of resources, isn't the lack of information, because if you go on social media and type in how to get better at video editing, you're gonna see 1,000 videos. It isn't even the lack of opportunity, because right now if you're watching this, you're probably on your phone or on your laptop. So in some way of sort, you're already privileged, better than most people in the world. It's the lack of belief that stops many people from achieving anything that they want to do. It's really important to be self-aware to the point of, hey, I'm being inspired, but you don't act on it. A video, a quote, a story, maybe just like this, can inspire you for a moment. But if you don't act on it, then everything else just fades and you go back to the loop of, hey, let me get inspired. I'm not acting. Let let me get inspired, not acting. So, and that's why I'm building Humble Beginnings. Humble Beginnings isn't just a place where you just learn skills, and it's not a course, so it's not even like an educational project. Humble Beginnings is a platform where you shift your whole identity. It's about building an environment and a community where you are surrounded by people who have belief in themselves to execute on any project or any idea that they want. Where you start internalizing it and you go from thinking, maybe I should do this, to let's go, let's get dialed in, and let's definitely do this. Because belief can't be taught. I can't teach a belief. It has to be felt within you. It has to be experienced by seeing others who also are doing the impossible. Imagine a world where every single person believes in themselves to execute projects. Imagine the innovation. Imagine the impacts that it could have. Imagine the dreams that will finally come true. Imagine the success that would happen. Imagine even the money that will be generated globally. If every single person removed that self-limiting beliefs and had the confidence to execute anything that they want. Imagine what the world would look like if that happens. So yeah, that's what the video is all about, the power of belief. And I hope this video kind of inspired you to execute every single project. And I think hopefully by this video comes out, Humble Beginnings should be launched. So if you have an idea, if you have a project, if you have anything that you want to build, and you've been procrastinating, literally, it's completely free, but we help you kind of execute projects. Just go down, check out Instagram, check out what Humble Beginnings is all about, and yeah, and I hope to kind of see you there. But other than that, honestly, I feel like there's so many more businesses that could be impacted, there's so many more careers, there's so many more opportunities that are just left on the table, but there's people not having the confidence in themselves and allowing other people to make their choices for them. If you have any idea right now or any project they've been letting off for weeks or months, make one promise to me and make one promise to yourself. I want you to, after this video, stop consuming the content, stop being inspired, and start taking action. Sit back down, get a pen and paper, and write out anything you want to do. And then, yeah, and other than that, stay tuned for the next video.